At a time before I can remember, my parents decided to leave the confines of southern New Jersey in the United States and move our whole family to Sumatra, Indonesia. That was a world away. My father, who was a welder and pipe fitter, was reading the horse racing section of the newspaper when he saw an ad for refinery workers in Indonesia. He asked my mother if she wanted to go, and she said, "Yes, where is that?" And off they went. We moved around a lot after that, living in the Philippines, then right here in nearby Garden Grove, and again overseas in Colón, Panama, where I graduated from high school. We also traveled through many countries and states, journeying to and fro. I think I kind of took all of that travel that I did in my youth for granted. Then my life changed, and I got married, and while my then husband and I traveled inside the United States for UU conferences and to see family, I didn't leave the country for more than 20 years. But then I divorced, and a friend of mine was taking a 3-month leave of absence from her work and going to live in Paris. She invited me to visit her for 3 weeks. I was a seminary student, subsisting on the meager income of a half-time director of religious education. I certainly didn't have the money to go on such an adventure. Yet when I talked with my siblings about it, they said, "How can you not go?" And so I did. That trip was beautiful and amazing, and it woke something up in me, and I knew I had to start traveling internationally again. When I got home, I booked a tour to Greece with my dream worker and teacher, Reverend Jeremy Taylor. Ever since that time, I will travel at the drop of a hat, and actually even the drop of a baseball cap. So when my friend and ministerial colleague, the Reverend Sean Wiltshire, asked me to go to Scotland with her this spring, she was planning to attend a week-long workshop on the island of Iona, off the coast of Scotland, which has long been honored as a sacred site. I quickly said yes. She and I had visited that island for a day back in 2019, the year we designed our own driving tour from Edinburgh to Skye to Loch Ness to Mull and Iona. My expectations that while this trip would undoubtedly be fun and entertaining, it would for me primarily be a pilgrimage. What do I mean by pilgrimage? In The Art of Pilgrimage, The Seeker's Guide to Making Travel Sacred, Phil Cosinu writes, "What legendary travelers have taught us since Pausanias and Marco Polo is that the art of travel is the art of seeing what is sacred. Pilgrimage is a kind of journey that marks a move from mindless to mindful, soulless to soulful travel." And then he says, ancient wisdom suggests, if you aren't trembling as you approach the sacred, it isn't the real thing. It needs to evoke emotion and commotion. Interesting word, commotion, because travel isn't necessarily smooth sailing, as any traveler will tell you. In fact, navigating rough seas can be an important part of the adventure. Here's what a Buddhist priest once told the author Oliver Statler. The point of the pilgrimage is to improve yourself by enduring and overcoming difficulties. It becomes an adventure. Joseph Campbell's book, A Hero with a Thousand Faces, describes the nature of such adventures and coined the famous term, the hero's journey. Here's what he says. A hero ventures forth, leaving the world of common day and journeys into a region of supernatural wonder. Fabulous forces are there encountered, and a decisive victory is won. The hero comes back from the mysterious adventure with the power to bestow boon on his fellow man. So before we go further in today's adventure, I'd like to invite you to go on a version of the hero's journey. It will take the form of a meditation that I wrote some years ago to help prepare coming-of-age youth for their mostly internal journey that they were about to take with their mentors. So I invite you to sit back and relax, take a few deep breaths, and close your eyes if you feel comfortable as we begin this journey together. You are about to set off on a journey of transformation that will have many challenges and obstacles, both internal and external. Yet something is compelling you forward. As you prepare for the journey, think about the things you will need to pack. These should be things that have helped you succeed in the past. However, you can let go and leave behind things from earlier days that no longer serve you, though they might have when you were younger. Let go of the things that no longer fit who you are becoming. Take only those things that will help you at this time in your life. You are about to set out, and then the threshold guardian, a personification of your doubts and fears, arises and tries to prevent you from striking out. The threshold guardian rears its ugly head and puts many obstacles in your path, making you uncertain. You are heading into the unknown. You ask yourself, where will this journey lead? And yet, you take the first fateful step, not looking back. And obstacles and challenges do arise. Now you wonder if you can overcome them. Yet on all such journeys, a wise and helpful person appears when it seems that you have run out of options. Envision this person. Creating a vision will bring them to life. What is it about them that allows you to heed their advice and counsel? As you talk with each other, trust and respect grow. They are with you right here, right now. And even in those moments when they are not, you can still feel their presence, even in the most challenging moments. You are able to carry on, knowing that you are not alone. As you come to the end of your journey, as you come home to who you are, you feel strong, confident, and victorious. And then you see them. There, all around you, is your community, waiting to welcome you and congratulate you for all you have accomplished. And they are eager to receive all the spiritual gifts that you bring with you. Now refreshed, you can come back to this place and this time. Open your eyes when you are ready. Pilgrimage to holy sites predates organized religion. In fact, historians don't know the date when people first began making pilgrimages. However, we do know that they are practiced by faiths around the world, from Buddhism and Christianity and Hinduism to Judaism, Sikhism, Taoism, and Zoroastrianism. Islam, of course, has the Hajj, which is a mandatory religious duty. And of course, there are cultural pilgrimages to literary sites, or maybe Cooperstown, where the Baseball Hall of Fame is located. A pilgrimage can really be a journey to any place that is sacred to you, a place where you seek transformation, to fulfill a vow, to seek forgiveness or healing, even a journey to honor someone who is important to you. There are many forms of pilgrimage. You can go to a holy place around the world, or you can travel around the block. Whatever distance you travel, the journey begins with a longing. It continues with a voyage that takes you into the heart, a path that leads you back home with new learnings and insights to strengthen your beloved community. Personally, I think of a pilgrimage as travel in search of insight and enlightenment. It matters not where. Christian pilgrimages to the Holy Land started in the 4th century, encouraged by prominent church leaders. Over the years, they became very popular, and a complex infrastructure developed to accommodate large numbers of travelers. But during the Crusades, travel to Jerusalem became more dangerous, and so alternatives developed. Pilgrimages to places like Camino de Santiago de Compostela in Spain eventually began. Walking that path continues to grow in popularity even today. Are you wondering if there are any Unitarian Universalist pilgrimage sites? Allow me to name just a few. General Assembly, though it takes place in various places around the country, is one example. Many UUs have gone on civil rights pilgrimages, visiting important historical sites in Alabama and Georgia. For my part, I took groups of coming-of-age teens to the home of Unitarian Universalism, Boston, Massachusetts, for many years. We visited UUA headquarters and founding churches, as well as historical sites including Lexington, Concord, and Walden Pond, the birthplaces of Transcendentalism. Beginning in 1993, the UU Partner Church Council helped establish nearly 200 partnerships between North American congregations and organizations in places like Romania, Kenya, Uganda, India, and the Philippines. Today, the Partner Church program is being transformed into the UU Global Network. Our global partners experience deep connection and a generous sharing of resources. And in many cases, they also share experiences of spiritual kinship. Back in 2003, while serving the UU congregation at Montclair, New Jersey, I made a pilgrimage to our partner church in Transylvania. That area is historically and culturally Hungarian, but it has been part of Romania since World War I. This was truly a pilgrimage and not a vacation. The Unitarian, not Universalist, church in Cluj was founded in 1568 in the midst of the Reformation. King John Sigismund, having been schooled in Unitarianism by his regent mother, Queen Isabella, was now on the throne, the only Unitarian king that we know of. King John was trying to decide what religion Transylvania should follow. He held a debate during what is called a diet, in other words, a legislative assembly. The debaters were Catholic, Lutheran, Calvinist, and Unitarian. The Unitarian defender was Francis David, who coincidentally wrote the words that we often say at the beginning of our service: we need not live alike to love alike, think alike to love alike. He is the one who said those words. So anyway, he won the debate. However, rather than declare Unitarianism the official state religion, King Sigismund issued the following Edict of Toleration. It reads, "His Majesty our Lord, in what manner he, together with his realm, legislated in the manner of religion at the previous diets, in the same manner now, in this diet, reaffirms that in every place the preachers shall preach and explain the gospel, each according to his understanding of it. And if the congregation like it, well. And if not, no one shall compel them, for their souls would not be satisfied. But they shall be permitted to keep a preacher whose teachings they approve. Therefore, none of the superintendents or others shall abuse the preachers. No one shall be reviled for his religion by anyone, according to the previous statutes. And it is not permitted that anyone should threaten anyone else by imprisonment or by removal from his post for his teaching. For faith is the gift of God, and this comes from hearing, which hearing is by the word of God." Unfortunately, King John didn't rule for very long. He was injured in a hunting accident and died with no heir. The Catholics quickly tried to reestablish Catholicism as the national religion, but they failed in the attempt. But they did get laws passed restricting any additional theological innovations. Francis David, now out of favor, could not be persuaded to stop questioning and revising and inventing new practices. He was arrested for this behavior and died in prison in 1579. He died for the crime of innovation. Our group in Montclair had gone to Transylvania to pay homage to the heroic early leaders of our faith. We found that our fellow Unitarians were living under constant marginalization and the threat of being erased from history by the hostile Romanian government. We did our best to support them in their plight. We prayed with them, ate with them, slept in their homes. I, for one, can say that the experience greatly strengthened my faith. It's one I will never forget. While pilgrimages were exceedingly popular in earlier days, some people, of course, couldn't take part for various reasons. An accessible local alternative developed: the labyrinth. Let me just show you one that I have here that was given to me some years ago. And you're welcome to try it after the service if you'd like. Labyrinths were built into cathedral floors between the 12th and 14th centuries. Probably the most famous one is in Chartres Cathedral outside Paris, France. The labyrinth evolved into an important alternative to pilgrimage and a metaphor for it. Cindy Pavlinac wrote in The Labyrinth as Heart and Holder of Personal Pilgrimage that the labyrinth has woven a meandering path through the human psyche for thousands of years, from ancient Ariadne and medieval cathedral pilgrimage floors to modern movies and computer games. Labyrinths are often at the heart of the quest for self-knowledge, creative awakening, personal integration, community building, and transcendence. I wonder how many of you have ever walked the labyrinth? Yeah, okay, a couple. I remember the first time I walked. I was the director of religious education at the UU Church in Santa Monica and just finished my ministerial internship. A woman came in to lead a workshop, and she brought a labyrinth with her, printed on canvas. She laid it out on the lawn, and we were invited to walk. As it happened, I was just entering search for a new position at the time, and I held a question about that in my mind and heart. I received an enigmatic answer, yet it did somehow give me the confidence as I moved forward. Walking a labyrinth engages the body while freeing the mind. As you walk, you can contemplate a question or hold an intention, much like a pilgrim. You carry these within you while following a meandering, twisting, yet universal single pathway. It is not meant to confuse you like a maze. Instead, it leads you unerringly to the center. Once you have reached your goal, you can stay for as long as you like. When you are ready, you retrace your steps and find your way home. You can then share what you have learned and offer it as a gift to the wider world. Whether you travel far or walk a labyrinth somewhere close to home, you too can make a pilgrimage. If you do, perhaps you will find that in your own way, you have braved a form of the hero's journey. But whatever you experience, it is sure to deepen your heart. May all your journeys be blessed.